This is a podcast about one woman's mission to help entrepreneurs and business owners write better business books. Each week, we tackle your writing excuses, because there are excuses too, and help you beat the blank page of doom so that you can write the book that'll grow your life and your business. Now here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the 1000 Authors Show. I'm Vicky Fraser and this is my husband Joe.
Hello.
Hello, you're right there.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. You okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid your garlic breath.
Oh, I had a really garlicky lunch. I'm sorry.
It's very
I
bad.
can't help it.
I think you need to breathe in the other direction.
I don't want to breathe in the other direction.
Well, you need to.
How about you inhale in the other direction?
It's my office. Today I'm drinking water. What are you drinking?
I have
Daffodil
no
juice.
drink. I'm Misery Joe.
Show the listeners the daffodils. If you're watching this podcast, look at these magnificent daffodils in my office, creating a little bit of sunshine. And also attracting all of the ladybirds.
Where do they come from?
I don't know. I think they're living in gaps in my walls and now it's warm and they're like, woohoo! And they're all coming out and dying on my floor.
It's like Ladybird Central in here.
I know, it's great. Today we're... That's not the title of the podcast at all. No, I have to.
You have to make it right.
Yeah. So today... I could not deal with having the wrong title underneath. Today we're talking about lessons from a book launch. All of the lessons that I have learned over the last week or so of launching my book.
Okay.
There are many.
Is the book launch over?
No.
Okay. How long does the book
I'm kind of, the launch period is for February-ish.
Okay.
Until I've run out of swag to send people, really.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want some cool swag, better buy my book now. moxiebooks.co.uk/Feb 2020 book launch. Link in the show notes.
Link in the show notes.
Link in the show notes. But before we do that, what are we reading? Joe, what are you reading? Listeners, if you can guess what Joe's reading, there's a prize in it for you.
I'm reading The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Still. Ongoing. It's a project. It's a big one.
We are, although we're not reading this, but Joe and I have kicked off a project to watch every single episode of Star Trek ever made, starting right from the pilot episode of the original series, which was terrible.
It was bad.
And even though during the 1960s Star Trek was very ahead of its time, we're discovering that a lot of episodes are very problematic.
Yes. I mean, I think it's fine that women and men and everybody should wear whatever it is they want to wear. I just find it a little unlikely that all of the women would have chosen to wear skirts quite that short.
They've all got their butts hanging out.
It's like actual butts hanging out the back.
Which is, again, I'm a pole dancer, not a problem, but it just doesn't seem to be very practical. Especially when the men are all covered, but actually that's not entirely true, because at every opportunity that you can possibly imagine, James Kirk takes his shirt off.
Yes.
Or gets his shirt ripped off him. Mm-hmm. Or is otherwise slightly creepy towards whatever young woman happens to be in the vicinity. It is also awesome.
Yes.
But also terrible in many ways. So that's what we're doing. But I am reading at the moment, fiction-wise. I've literally just finished reading The Outsider by Stephen King, which is his latest book.
Okay, is it good?
It was great, actually. Yeah, it was really good. Very creepy, as you would expect from Stephen King. And I had a really weird day on, was it Wednesday night you were away? It was, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's Wednesday night Joe was away. And so on Wednesday morning, I had to finish the book, because otherwise I would have been reading it in bed and that would have been terrifying. I would have been terrified. So I was like, right, I've got to finish this book in daylight before Joe goes. And it meant that I started work really late. So I didn't get into my office until later than usual. And because I didn't have any snooker to watch.
Wait, what?
So whenever I used to read a scary book, if I was reading scary books, and I was on my own in the house and I didn't want to go to bed having just read a scary book, because something's definitely going to grab your ankle from underneath the bed if you've just read a scary book and you're on your own.
Right.
I used to put the snooker on afterwards, because you can't possibly be scared of anything when the snooker's on.
Right.
It's true. Try it.
Okay.
Not that you get scared of things anyway. But.
Not so much. Okay, cool.
Anyway, so The Outsider by Stephen King is really good. It's just been made into a Netflix series as well. So I think we ought to watch it.
And is Stephen King still churning things out that, are different from all the other things that he's already churned out?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can't diss Stephen King, dude.
Oh, I can.
And you're not a massive Stephen King fan, are you?
Not really.
You should read some of his short stories, because some of them are brilliant. Like one of the short stories that he wrote that it's stuck in my head because I just loved the concept and I found the whole thing really unsettling. It's not a horror story, this one, isn't it? It's just one of his short stories. It's called The Langoliers, and it's about time travel, and it was just a really interesting take on time travel.
I mean, I've read his stuff. I've read lots of the old school stuff, It and Christine and
I've never read Christine.
Carrie and all that kind of
Never
stuff.
read Carrie either.
Yeah.
I know.
And, quite enjoyed him, but felt like I'd read enough Stephen King.
Fair enough.
And he's read like 600 books. He's written 600 books since then.
I know, he's amazing. So anyway, I've just finished that and I'm about to start reading The Salt Path, which is this month's book club book in town.
Okay.
So I've just started reading that. It's already had me in tears before even the end of chapter 1.
Sounds great.
It is good. It is good, but it's, yeah. And I'm just about to start reading Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott, which is a book on some instructions on writing and life. And I've dipped in and out of it before and I love it. And she's just marvellous. And I'm reading it properly now for my book club, Bookaholics Anonymous, which if you would like to join, links in the show notes. It's totally free.
Nice.
We meet once a month via Zoom and talk about the book that we've just read, which this month is going to be Bird by Anne Lamott. Can't really say much about it yet because I haven't really started reading it yet properly.
Tune in same time next week to hear how that went.
Yes. Okay, so I have just launched my new book.
Launched your new book.
Which is called How the Hell Do You Write a Book?
That one.
That one there. And it's, I'm pretty proud of that book. It's great. It's got a foreword by Drayton Bird. Thanks, Drayton.
Hi, Drayton.
And yeah, so I'm just going to quickly run through what I did and what I've learned.
Okay.
So I've never launched a book before, which people might be a bit surprised by given what I do. But I've never officially launched a book because once I have helped my clients write their books, I hand it over to them. Then they go and do their thing. They launch it. They do what they do.
Can I take a step back and ask for a definition, please?
Of what?
A launch. What's a book launch?
Okay, so
what's the purpose of a book launch?
The purpose of a book launch is to release your book into the world with a bit of fanfare and pomp and circumstance and, try and sell as many books as you possibly can and do other things off the back of it, all as one big event instead of just kind of writing it, self-publishing it and letting it trickle out into the world. Mm-hmm. You want to make a big deal out of it. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
It's not that much different from a product launch. If you're launching a new product or something, it's like, I've got this new thing and you build some buzz up to it. And then it's like, right, I'm releasing it on this day. So this book launch is the first time I've ever done it properly. When I wrote Business for Superheroes, I did a launch just to my email list, just to the people on my email list. Mm-hmm. And it went pretty well. And I sold quite a lot of books actually to that list, which was very engaged and had all the right people on it. My list now is much smaller and has very much fewer of the right people on it, which part of the reason for the book launch was to build up my email list again. Okay. So I couldn't rely just on my email list this time. And I didn't want to. I wanted to get the word out there a bit more. So I obviously promoted it to my email list. That's fine. But I'd already pre-launched it to the list back in December, was it, when it first came out? And so I've spent the last month or so planning what I wanted to do as a bigger launch deal. So I took an idea that I heard from Andy Bounds, who is a communications and sales expert. And I once heard him talk at an event he did jointly with Drayton Bird. And that was the first time I met Drayton, which is where I made him scream. Oh. Because I presented him. Anyway, that's a different story. But Andy, I was really impressed with his presentation. And I still use some of the stuff that I learned in that presentation. And when I was helping Drayton write his autobiography, Andy emailed Drayton with a little bit of advice about book launches. Mm-hmm. And I took that advice and ran with it for myself. Okay. Drayton had done the same thing for his book launch. And so what Andy had suggested was ask maybe 10 or 12 people, experts in various industries, maybe in your industry, maybe in related industries, if they will help you promote your book. And what you ask them to do is promote your book out to their lists. Their email lists and on social media and stuff like that. And also provide you with a couple of pieces of advice or information that readers of your book will find really, really useful. Okay. So Andy provided me with 3 videos, which were great, really useful videos on sales techniques and communications techniques. Other people gave me other bits of advice and Julia made a report for things to consider when you're designing your book cover, that kind of thing. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, and it's a really great idea. And so I went to a bunch of people and all of them said yes. which was really great. I was really grateful to everybody. And like some of the people who said they would help was Andy Bounds. Drayton helped me out, which was fantastic. Said some really nice things about me. A guy called Doberman Dan, who if you're in the internet marketing world, you will have heard of probably, is an American guy.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan. You'll not be listening to this. Ryan Wallman, who is awesome. He is the funniest marketer on Twitter. And he's written a book called Delusions of Brander, which I absolutely love. That's going to be in the book club at some point. He gave me some cool stuff to share. And I think I don't know if he's shared anything on social media or anything yet. I'm going to nudge him and see if he has. But either way, he's really cool, and I was really glad to have his help. Rory Sutherland, who is a vice chairman of Ogilvy and Mather.
Nice.
Which is quite a coup for me. And again, he's provided something really cool, which is marvellous. Thank you for that, everybody. Yinka helped me. Hi, Yinka.
Hi, Yinka.
We love Yinka. Yinka has helped me, and that was fantastic. Kevin and Vicky, loads of people. I'm going to list everybody out in various blog posts and things to thank them properly. So anyway, I'd asked all these people. They all said yes, which is great. And I asked them to all promote it on the same day, the launch day, because, the more people who buy your book from Amazon on a specific day, the higher it's going to rise through the ranks and et cetera, et cetera. I also did some promotions on Instagram and Facebook, or rather Harriet did. Thank you so much, Harriet.
Thanks, Harriet.
And other people have shared stuff as well. I did not do nearly as much as I could have done. And I have learnt many lessons from this. So that's what I did. Okay. Like I said, it was my first ever book launch, and I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really know what to do other than kind of some of the stuff that I'd put together and decided what I was going to do. I didn't know at all how many sales to expect. It would have been like, for instance, Andy Bounds is much better known than I am. And he ended up being the #1 best-selling product on the whole of Amazon on the day of his book launch, which was really cool. I would have loved to have done that, maybe for my next book. Because I'm learning about, like, I can write a book and help people write books, and I can help people market them as well. Book launches are an entirely new animal for me. So it's been really cool learning about it, and I've taken lots of cool lessons away. It was very stressful. I was very tired. I had a lot of late nights and kind of getting stuff finished and all the rest of it. So I just wanted to run through a few things that I had learned from this process. Numbers 1 to 5 are all start your book launch process and planning earlier. Right. Like left
it too late, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it's that. Yes, I did leave it too late. Not because, but do you know what? I was thinking about why I left it too late. And it's not because I'm lazy. I don't, I joke about being lazy, but I don't think anyone really could call me lazy in all seriousness. I think it was fear. Because I've created this book that I'm really proud of. That is a really good book. On my good days, I think it's a really good book. On my bad days, I think it's a bag of shit. But no, I am really proud of it. It's like anything. You ask any writer and, sometimes, some stuff is like, I am really proud of it. I think it's a really good book.
Cool.
And it was just scary putting it out into the world, because it's like, if you actually do a book launch and ask people to buy it and ask people to help you sell it, then suddenly, if nobody buys it, it's going to really hurt. Whereas if you don't say anything, if I hadn't done anything, I could have been like, oh, well, I didn't put much effort in.
Didn't put much effort in. Nobody bought it.
Yeah.
It's to be expected. That's fine.
Yeah. And so it's just like another sticking your head above the parapet and, inviting people to throw rocks at it. And
sure.
Do you know what I mean? And so I think that's why I didn't start it earlier, because I kept being like, I'll get to it. And then.
But it's fear, really.
Yeah, it's totally fear already, if I'm being totally honest. So I didn't start early enough. I didn't know enough about book launches. Now I know more about book launches, and for my next book launch, I'm going to know even more.
And you're going to start earlier.
And I'm going to start earlier. What else did I learn? To be braver about asking people for help.
As soon as you asked everybody, they all said yes. Yeah,
I emailed a couple of people a couple of times. But yeah, they came back and said yes. Nobody said no. And I made it very easy for them to say no as well. Because at the end I was like, absolutely fine. If this isn't your cup of tea, that's not a problem at all. Thank you for listening and reading. I also made little videos asking people to help me, which most people won't bother doing. So cool. Put a face to the name. Yeah. Face to the name to the face. You know what I mean?
Voice to the words. I don't know.
Them. Yeah, that. So yeah, I would be braver about asking people to help me, because all of the people that I asked said yes, which was awesome. So there were a few people that I didn't I chickened out of asking. I was like, oh, I'd really like to ask that person, or, that person would be a really good fit, or, and for some reason I didn't. And I didn't ask enough women to help me. And I'm really annoyed about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? And I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, why have I, because I could think of a whole bunch of female entrepreneurs that I would have loved to have asked to help me do this. And I chickened out of asking all of them.
That's strange.
I know, which is really weird. And I'm annoyed for two reasons. First of all, because, I'm chicken. And second of all, because I want to introduce more people to the people who help me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I want to help more women grow their businesses if I can, because, we're not loud enough and we're not.
Why don't you just ask them?
Well, the launch is kind of over now.
It's not what's going on all month.
Don't say that kind of thing to me on live podcasting.
Will you do it?
Yes.
Okay, good. We'll check in next week.
Oh, okay. But I'm going to have to unpack that at some point and figure out why.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, and I have to be kind of careful what I say, because all of the people that I've asked, I really admire, obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't have asked them. And I wonder if it's because I put more weight on women's approval than on men's approval.
Perhaps.
And I don't know why that might be. I'm more bothered about being judged by other female entrepreneurs, I think, than by male entrepreneurs. And
Okay.
I wonder why that is. I'm going to have to dig into my brain with a spoon at some point and find out. Because that's ridiculous.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Because we need to help each other, women in business. We need to help each other more. And, me doing that is just dumb.
Get on with it.
So yeah, that's what I would. But I would be brave about asking all sorts of people for help. Because if you ask people and if you ask them graciously and give them an easy out, then it's
fine.
It's fine. Yes.
You're not burning relationships or
No.
pissing people off or,
No.
cornering people.
I'm never pissed off. If people ask me for things, I'm never pissed off. I don't always say yes, but I'm never pissed off about it. So, Joe, you told me a good thing.
Well,
tell me what you learned.
When I heard that, we were doing a podcast on things we learned about book launches, I thought, I better find out about book launches.
Did you research?
A little bit.
It's because you're my love.
So I obviously, started Googling, and one person's strategy, at least, was all about getting your Google ranking high.
Okay.
So Amazon ranking.
Amazon ranking.
It's all about getting, in the top 20 of Amazon on the topic that you're talking about.
Okay.
And their whole methodology was focused around that and nothing else. It wasn't about making money or meeting people or anything. And they said to do that, you need lots of sales for a month.
Right.
Not for a day or a week or anything else. You need a month's worth of good sales.
Okay.
And you need at least 10 reviews.
Okay.
So their whole strategy was around getting those two things. And what they did was they would say, talk to people, email chains, mailing lists, all that good stuff that you're doing. But they said, have the starting price as low as you can bear. They were saying like 99 cents.
That'll be for an ebook.
Yeah, for an ebook. And that will get you lots of sales. And then you get people to write reviews a couple of days after they received it. And that gets you the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets you high enough in the rankings to keep you near the top of the list for the next month. And assuming you sell a bunch of books then as well, it keeps you high in the next month. So the whole deal is about staying high up the Amazon list.
Can you remember whose advice that was?
No, but I'm sure my internet history knows.
Cool. It would be really nice to credit that person with what you've just learned. So that link will be in the show notes when Joe has dug it out and
Do so.
and found it. And it would be nice to. In fact, we could. And we're back in the room.
Hello.
So Joe found that on a
Terrible sounding website.
Yeah, but the guy who wrote the advice was a guy called Joseph Hogue.
Hogue.
Yeah. So there you go. Book launch strategy will protect your Amazon rankings and turn your book into a bestseller. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I don't know if that will work or not, but because I haven't tried it. But go try it if you're going to launch a book. Try it. Which brings me to the next thing that I've learned that I didn't do in time because and actually you're going to be helping me with this, and I didn't ask you to learn about it in time. But I didn't use any ads. I didn't do any paid advertising at all.
Sure.
And I think that would have been a big help on Facebook and on Amazon ads. So Joe's doing currently a Facebook advertising course that I've bought
Yes.
because I knew that I wasn't going to do it basically. I want to know when you set up the stuff, I'm going to sit and watch you and kind of help you. And I'll obviously have to write the copy as well.
Sure.
So I want to understand it, but I know I'm not going to do it. And that's the kind of minute detail stuff that I think you'll quite enjoy.
Okay.
So use ads to push people to your book launch and all the rest of it. I'm going to definitely do that next time when I've got a handle on how they work. Another related thing, ask for reviews more often.
Yes.
It's really, really, really difficult to get people to review your book. It's really difficult, even among people who really love you. You have to ask, and I'm not poking at anybody here at all who I've asked for a review, who hasn't reviewed it yet. But please do go and review it. But it's just a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing to get people to do. So ask for reviews often and early. And as soon as you know somebody's got a book, follow up. So as part of my email sequence, there's always quite early on, please go and review my book. I missed a bloody trick in the actual book. I made a video about this the other day. I forgot to put in the printed book, and I'll change this in the second edition, a page right at the end that says, thanks so much for reading my book. Please go here to Amazon and review it now. I'm putting that in the digital version of the book, so it's obviously very easy for me to change that and then re-upload it. So the digital version of the book will have that in, and it will have a hyperlink as well. Which makes it even easier. And I use a piece of software called Vellum, which makes it really easy to link to the bookstore where the person bought the book. So if they bought it somewhere else, if they bought it on, say, Smashwords or Barnes & Noble or something like that, it'll hyperlink to the shop where they bought the book.
Nice.
And leave the review there, which is really cool. It's really
cool.
Simple. Yeah. I would rather they reviewed it on Amazon, to be honest, because more people use Amazon, but that's fine. So yeah, get more reviews if you can. I should have talked more about the launch. I was too quiet on social media and in person. And I think it's because I was so sick of hearing myself talk about my book. I thought everybody else would be as well, which they might well have been, but it's that old chestnut of, people stop running successful adverts in their businesses because they're sick of them and they forget that they see it every day, but the people they're advertising to don't. And it's the same with me. So I'm sick of hearing and thinking about and talking about my book. And probably you are as well. But the people who are out there that have never heard of me, they're not sick of hearing about it because they've never heard about it before. So I'd forgotten one of my own rules of advertising. And I just didn't want to piss people off on social media, which is ridiculous. Because I'm like, well, I'm not putting a gun to anybody's head and forcing them to look at my posts. Do you know what I mean? So I really, that again, that's fear. It's a fear thing. I've cared far too much what other people thought of me. So yeah, I should have talked about it a bit more. It helps having Harriet do that kind of thing for me on Facebook and Instagram, because then I'm not doing it. She is. And Instagram's been great, actually. My Instagram presence has been really good. Harriet's done a really good job of that. I should have done more stuff on my personal Facebook page and on my other, Facebook groups and things. More live events and talks. I've done a few talks in the last few weeks. It would have been great to have done more. I could have organised more. I could have organised my own live events. I could have organised a big in-person book launch and got local media there and stuff like that, and I didn't. And again, part of it, to be honest, part of it was time. I have been incredibly busy over the last 2 or 3 months. I have. I mean, you've seen how busy I've been.
Yeah.
And part of it, again, was fear. And I think another part of it was I've spent so much time and energy and focus on this book. I just got sick of it. I got sick of the whole thing. So that's another lesson, actually, is you are going to be sick of your book by the time you get to the end of the book launch, but you can't let that stop you from doing this stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's probably a really, really important lesson. I could have organised a big online party, a big online book launch. And I did talk about that with Harriet, and then I did nothing about it. So like a big Facebook Live. I'm part of the problem with this is I'm not a big user of social media. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook anymore. I took it off my phone. I don't really know how Facebook Lives work. I see other people doing them and they seem to have success, but I'm always really wary of just jumping on a bandwagon that I don't know very much about and trying to do it. So that is a legit reason why I didn't do very much on social media. But again, the more I do on social media, the more comfortable I'll become with it. So there's that. I just don't want to spend all of my time on social. So there is that as well. And that as well, I think is a good lesson to take away. I feel quite often pressured into doing stuff that everybody else is doing just because they're doing it. And if I don't enjoy doing it, if that's not where I want to spend my time, I'm not going to do a very good job anyway. And I shouldn't be worrying about, there are other things that I can do. And I think that's really important. Don't feel like you have to do stuff just because other people are doing it. social media particularly, if you're not going to spend time and effort on doing it well.
And doing it badly is almost worse than not doing it.
Yeah, it's like, don't bother. So yeah, and I think really the biggest takeaway, I think, is for this podcast is put a proper plan in place, get as many people to help as you can. And don't be afraid to be excited about your book, even when you're sick of hearing yourself talk about it. Don't be afraid to keep ramping it up. And I had another takeaway then that was quite a good one. No, I can't remember what it was. Come on, brain, work.
You could buy the book. Takeaway, buy the book.
Takeaway, buy the book, yeah. Yeah. Learn from your, you know, like I'm actually quite pleased with how it's going. Mm-hmm. I've had a decent number of sales on Amazon and through my website. I'm building up my email list with the right people on it. There are people joining it every day.
That's cool.
It's really, really cool. So yeah, I'm not unhappy with the way it's gone at all. And the way I've seen it is this is the first time I've done this and I'm treating it as a real learning experience. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway that I can give you. Do all of this stuff, try it out. Don't be disheartened if it doesn't work the way you would like it to, or if it doesn't work the way you think it should.
Learn and move forward. Yeah.
And I did go into it with that. So I think the old me, a couple of years ago me, would have been quite upset about, you know, various things that have happened or not happened. And because I've gone into it with the mindset that, you know what, I'm just going to learn. This is going to be one big experiment and I'm going to learn from it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to see what I can do better next time. And that's made me feel pretty good about the whole thing.
Cool.
Yeah. How do you think it's gone? You don't have a clue, do you?
Well, I haven't seen the graphs for the sales, so I don't know.
No. And that was the other thing that was quite frustrating. Yeah. Here's another lesson. Don't sit there and obsessively F5 the Amazon KDP bookshelf report.
Refresh.
Because there's a massive lag, sometimes days, between a sale going through and Amazon recording it on your reporting page. And that's like, why is nobody buying my book? And then 2 days later, it's like, oh, they are. That's fine.
That's worth knowing, isn't it?
That is worth knowing.
That's pretty scary for a couple of days.
Yeah, sometimes it shows up within hours and sometimes it shows up instantly and sometimes it shows up days later. And I really no idea why that is the case. So there you go. Right then.
Okay.
What's coming up next week?
Mudita.
We're going to be talking about mudita and why it's something that you need to cultivate if you want to write a book or do something big or achieve something cool.
Whole new word.
In other news, I'm still sorting out a writing retreat. Not sorted out yet. In progress. Oh, I'm launching, this Friday, I am launching a free 29-day writing challenge. And by the time this podcast goes out, you will be able to join it at, hang on, moxiebooks.co.uk 29-day-writing-challenge. Why is that such a shit URL? Link is in the show notes. It does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm going to get you to write something every day for 29 days.
Cool.
And you'll get an email from me every day with a writing prompt and an idea and a little bit of cheering and encouragement. And the idea is I want you to create a writing habit so that when you come to write your book, you find the whole thing a little bit less painful.
Nice.
Yeah. If you've listened to every episode of this podcast, you know what to do. Email me with your postal address and I will send you a cool gift.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And what else? Oh,
subscribe, like it, review, 5
reviewers.
stars.
Yeah, 5-star reviews, please. Thanks very much. Thanks. Yeah. I'm really tired.
I know.
I'm really hungry. Let's go.
We're done.
Bye, guys. We'll be back same time next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find links and show notes on the website at moxiebooks.co.uk/podcast, where you can also sign up for the best daily emails in the multiverse and find loads of free resources to help you write your book. We'll be back the same time next week with more tales from the book writing trenches and the latest on what the tiny sheeps have been up to.